The Tennessee Titans are heading downhill pretty damn fast. There was a good period of success, but they truly just couldn't actually break through, and now it's really starting to fall apart. Quarterback is now a major question, and the offense is truly horrendous, outside of maybe a couple key players. Regardless, it's going to be hard for a young passer to develop with the pieces that they currently have in place. It feels like the Titans are heading towards some kind of rebuild or retool, and it's really time for them to start worrying about the future. The most important thing to monitor for the Titans, especially this offseason, is the quarterback position. There are 3 guys on the roster as of now: Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, and Will Levis. The big question is going to be how that all works out during camp. It seems pretty obvious that Ryan Tannehill is going to be the starter week 1. I mean, it would be a shock if he wasn't, or it would probably be because of like an injury or something like that. He's been fine, but that's really about it. Tannehill had a career best season back in 2020 where he had 3,800 yards and 33 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Unfortunately, he followed it up with a 14-pick season in 2021 and still hasn't had another season with 30 touchdowns. Last season, he only played in 12 games because of an ankle injury. It's no secret that the Titans want a better option at quarterback, and trust me, they need it. That's why they gave it a shot to replace him last offseason by drafting Malik Willis in the 3rd round. A lot of people expected him to go in the 1st round, but he hadn't played in anything close to a pro-style offense, and it caused him to drop to the 3rd round before the Titans selected him. He got the chance to start 3 games last year, and the dude flat out sucked. He was legitimately hard to watch at times. He ended up completing just 50% of his throws with 3 interceptions without passing for a single touchdown, but he did rush for a touchdown. It didn't take long for the Titans to realize that he wasn't their future. I wouldn't be overly surprised if he didn't even make the roster. I mean, with the new 3rd quarterback rule, he probably will make the team if I had to guess, but maybe he shouldn't. Clearly, he doesn't have a future in Tennessee, and that's why they took another stab at the draft again. The Titans had the 2nd pick in the 2nd round of the draft and ended up using it on Will Levis. He was expected to be a 1st rounder, but he slid, and it led to a very awkward time in the green room for him.
'Cause you had a bad day.
But now he could potentially be in a really good spot. He can learn from Ryan Tannehill, a solid vet, and has an easy road to take over Malik Willis for the backup role. Will Levis has a very high ceiling, and it's just a matter of whether or not he can put it all together. He showed a ton of talent at Kentucky and has a really strong arm. He just needs to be developed well. Levis had a good 2021 season with 2,800 yards and 33 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. Kentucky was good, and Levis ended up with high expectations for 2022, but he didn't live up to them. He struggled and was pretty banged up. He ended up with about 2,400 yards and 21 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. It was pretty disappointing, but the ceiling is still there. He just might need some time, and the Titans are a team that have time. Unfortunately though, whoever is behind center for the Titans has a terrible wide receiver core to work with. That is, of course, unless Tennessee can land DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins was released by the Cardinals and is a high priority free agent. His time in Arizona was pretty rocky. The Texans traded him to the Cardinals ahead of the 2021 season, and Hopkins played in 10 games before he tore his MCL. And then last season, he was suspended for 6 games for using PEDs. Take his unavailability with his contract, and the Cardinals wanted him off the books. He's not the D-Hop of old, but he's still got some in the tank and would surely be the number 1 in Tennessee. As of now, it sounds like it's pretty much down to 2 teams: the Titans and the Patriots. He's visited both teams, and now we just gotta wait and see. But the Titans could really use him because their wide receivers straight up suck. Last offseason, the Titans traded away their star wide receiver A.J. Brown, and they're definitely paying the price. Tennessee's listed number 1 is actually Treylon Burks, who only had 400 yards and caught a single touchdown as a rookie despite being a 1st rounder. Tennessee actually picked Burks with the pick that the Eagles gave the Titans for A.J. Brown. To be fair though, it didn't help that Burks missed time with turf toe. Tennessee's projected 2 is Nick Westbrook-Akine, who may be the most underwhelming number 2 in football. He had less than 400 yards last season and has just about 900 yards total in his 3-year career. But wait, it gets even worse from there at 3 with Kyle Phillips, who had just 78 yards as a rookie last year after he only played in 4 games because of a hamstring injury. At tight end, Chig Okonkwo had a pretty solid rookie season with 4 450 yards and 3 touchdowns. He, at the very least, is a young bright spot with some promise. But it doesn't get too much better from there on the offensive line either. It was one of, if not the worst line in the league last year. The Titans have at least tried to fix it. They did sign Andre Dillard to a 3-year, $29 million deal after he's been really reliable in Philadelphia. Then at the draft, the Titans used their first-round pick on Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern. He's a guard, but he does have the chance to really help improve that Titans offensive line. I would say that the only good thing for a young quarterback in Tennessee is going to be that the offense should still be run through Derrick Henry. He led the league in carries last season with 349, and he's led the league in 3 of the last 4 years. The only time he didn't was in 2021 when he suffered a Jones fracture. Henry, simply put, is a dog. He led the league in 2019 and 2020 in carries, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns. In 2020, Derrick Henry won Offensive Player of the Year after he had 378 carries for 2,027 yards and 17 touchdowns, all of which are career highs. The Titans tried to trade him this offseason, but the reality is that nobody wants an aging running back on an expiring deal, so Tennessee is stuck with him, and that could end up being a pretty good thing after all. The Titans can run the offense through Derrick Henry, and that allows for the job of a young quarterback to be a hell of a lot easier. Henry is still really good, and he showed that last year with 1,500 yards, but I don't expect him to be part of the Titans' future plans. They even just used a 3rd rounder on running back Tyjae Spears out of Tulane, so it'll be interesting to see what role he can carve out in Tennessee. The Titans have been the kings of the AFC South for a decent amount of time now, but it's safe to say that it's pretty much over. Tennessee could still win the division, don't get me wrong, but the Jaguars are the clear favorites now. It was a miracle last season that Jacksonville was even able to win the division. I mean, it was really only possible because of how badly the Titans finished the last part of the season. Trevor Lawrence has emerged as a top quarterback, as we all expected, and the Jags have a pretty damn good team. Meanwhile, the Titans have gotten worse in pretty much every way and need to figure out their quarterback situation ASAP. Luckily, the rest of the division is still kind of a bit messy. The Texans and Colts both have rookie quarterbacks in CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson, so it's going to at least take them some time to put things together with their new young passers. DraftKings has the Jaguars as the clear favorite at -165. That leaves the Titans at +425, with the Colts at +550, and the Texans way out there at +750. Tennessee has a chance, but it looks like it's the Jaguars' division to lose. A new era of the AFC South is here, and the Titans are starting to fall behind the pack, and I think the key to getting them back on track is figuring out if Will Levis is the quarterback of the future or not, because Ryan Tannehill certainly isn't.